Alright guys, Scrappy again. I hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. Simp reveals exactly why the Gentlemates are not streaming Scrims from their perspective, saying that if they were to stream their practice, then wow, some of the slurs that would be hitting the timeline would not be appropriate for consumption and there could be serious issues. Some questions on whether this seems especially reasonable in the circumstances. Also a rumour going around as to what's going to happen with the Bush Gaming boys down in Challengers. They're currently killing things in many respects, so many people are saying, could they get a Pro League spot at some point? But apparently they're not willing to buy it. They want the deal to be the other way around. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I greatly appreciate. Lots to get into today. Thought this is actually pretty funny from the Vancouver Sirs. They tweet this out, where you're at, and we still talk about you Carolina Royal Ravens. And I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting, like have Ravens been up to much over the last couple of weeks? It's also just quickly worth noting here that Surge have still not confirmed that they actually have a new player, right? Tej is coming into the team. The only thing that they've done on that is I think they put out a video which was him, I don't know, yeah, it was this one, where it's just in the background the Feeling Like Tej track. So all a bit confusing really, but they've not themselves done a graphic yet to say that, okay, TJ's now our new player. But it was a kind of funny tweet because if you go to the Ravens accounts, this is the most recent tweet that they did. So they tweeted this out to 46 likes on, what was this, the 6th of December. GG's to Boston, we 4-1-3 in the longest map 4 series, a 4-map series of all time. I think that was one with a number of delays in and stuff. But if you go to the Ravens page, this is literally the most recent thing that they've done. They were tweeting on the 5th, on the 6th, but they played matches more recently than this, and yet they still didn't tweet anything. So yeah, I just thought that was actually pretty funny that Ravens are just apparently just dead and buried in every single respect. Some other interesting scrims though from last night. Stallions Black, so this is not the team with Lqgend on, this is Symbols, Otis, Swagchicked and Ryan. They were playing Doug St. Martin's team. That was a 5-2 in the end to the Stallions Black on this occasion. So yeah, a couple of interesting scoreboards here just to briefly move through. Obviously, people want to know how Doug's getting on. To be fair, Doug's numbers in these actually pretty respectable. We know that Doug does like to play the objective, right, pretty hard, and in the overloads, that certainly will be the case. Doug, and to be fair, this map, Doug actually had 0 overloads. I'm sure that that was really eating him alive, because we know that Doug likes playing the objective. Anything that's kind of like blitz, I think Doug's going to be all over it. But yeah, so Centre's team always continues to be an entertaining talking boys. The other scrim set was Huntsman against Telluride Bush. So this is a 4-4 bang out, actually. The black card was a 250, 249. I mean, have a look at this. Absolute crazy map, really. Spark goes 38 in 29, Kips 38 in 20, 36 and 28 on the other side. But it looks like the Huntsman boys are improving as time goes on. They're a really exciting team to keep an eye on. We know that the Bush guys are the best, if not very close to the best right now in challenges. It's extremely competitive at the top end of challenges. And again, here we are talking about challenges, which would not usually be the case. But this year it's very, well, loads of storylines, let's say, coming out of challenges, especially coming out of the Bush boys. Now, what's going to happen next with Bush Gaming? This is a good question. There are lots of people in the comments of the videos that they've done breaking down the behind the scenes, let's say, so far of this operation that are saying, wow, I never had heard of competitive Call of Duty, never watched any of it before, but now I'm super locked in. And as the Bush guys are about to suggest, they can achieve from a storyline perspective, from, let's say, getting to know the personalities and all that, they can achieve a lot of what they're intending to achieve right now as a challengers team, and it's been fantastic for the scene so far. But of course, you know, these guys are backed by Barstool, right? So this is a serious operation potentially. And an operation that some have said, okay, could we get Bush into the Pro League? Now, over the last couple of days with all the FaZe drama, many of us are asking for, please, BenJ, load up the Microsoft PowerPoint or whatever he's doing this on here, and give us the details. So he's not done that for FaZe. Maybe he will do that for FaZe, but I've not seen it yet. But what he did do is draw this up here for a potential relationship between the Call of Duty League and the Bush Barstool guys in terms of what that would look like. Because the CDL, as it stands, has changed a lot over the last few years. It's no longer the case of, oh, you pay 25 million and you get a spot. That's not how it works. We may move, I think there is some sort of fee that the teams have to pay to like be a part of the league, maybe on like a yearly basis now. But it's certainly not what it was. So getting into the league is a different proposition. There's talk about expansion at some point. There's lots of organizations that are interested. There's maybe still 1 or 2 poverty organizations in the Pro League that still need to go, as we discussed with the Ravens a couple of minutes back. But regardless, there are opportunities in the future of the COD League. It's certainly not set up in the way that it previously was. Maybe we even move down the kind of Valorant direction of having partnerships where effectively the league says, all right, you are going to be a team in our league and we're going to pay you a stipend. So effectively the deal runs the other way. Everyone makes money off the microtransactions and stuff, but the teams are actually incentivized by the organizer, by the league itself, to create content, to do all the things and to help what they want to push as part of this product. That's, I think, worked pretty well for Valorant, to be honest. And it means that in Tier 2, there's tons of competition because people are trying to prove to Riot, like, hey, select us. And that means that there's lots of investment in all the different tiers of the ecosystem. So that's a very different approach, but the COD League is certainly closer to that now than we were a few years ago. So maybe a similar approach here could be taken on by the Barstool guys.
A lot of people asking if we would buy a league spot. We already covered that.
They're gonna pay us for one.
They're gonna
That's the plan.
They are. I'll put that up publicly. They are going to come and they're going to pay Barstool to have a spot in the CDL because it costs money to do that. So it's even if they give us one for free, immediately the advantage of challengers is we can do basically everything that we want to do with no overhead.
Yeah.
Like all the stuff that we could do in the league, like because our thing isn't based on gameplay, it's based on the personalities around it. We can do it for $0 right now. So there's really not a huge advantage. Like we don't need the CDL fans the way that the CDL needs our fans. So the advantage is they want us involved. We don't really need them to be involved. Like we could do this really with anything. We do this with a Halo league. We do this with a league that we start ourselves. It's based on the 3 of you. So why not do the version that costs us $0 and only has upside, as opposed to all of a sudden now having a roster that we got to pay a minimum of $200,000 and pay a real coach and pay this and pay that, unless they're going to give us a financial incentive. Which they will if they're smart.
I do think it's an optimistic assessment for the league to pay them to have a spot, I guess. But as they're saying, look, we're kind of achieving what we want to achieve right now in challenges and doing so with very little overheads. So if we're going to be a Pro League team, that's going to have to make sense for us. So this was Benjay's graphic anyway, saying that the COD League gives, franchise spots, maybe even major event subsidies to Barstool. Then the Call of Duty IP gives those guys some sort of marketing money to actually promote the game on like a yearly release. There's Call of Duty League, there's COD IP, there's Activision, Blizzard, Microsoft and all of that. So, there's an argument that, okay, they could give them some marketing money for certain activations. The deliverables go back the other way. Barstool's responsible for the player expenses, the travel and accommodation, the additional staff and expenses. But, that's just part of the program, right? So there's opportunities, I think, here. And yeah, the idea of having like a Bush Gaming team in the Pro League, having the Bush Gaming skins, I'm sure they'd be pretty entertaining. So something to think about anyway. There is probably a business case for it. But we're only a couple of months in here, really, and who knows exactly how things really go behind the scenes at the CDL anyway. And at the end of the day, there's plenty of other teams that do want to pay to get in, right? Like, we're pretty sure there's a couple of Saudi teams that have seen what Falcons are doing, and they want to get into the Pro League as well. They'd be willing to pay to do so, you'd imagine. So there are conversations on what makes the most sense for the league. But let's talk about some of the other dramas. OpTic Texas, they have started the year 3-0. That is far from the best ever start. In fact, FaZe started 11-0 back in Cold War, which is pretty crazy. FaZe also 9-0 in Modern Warfare 3, 8-0 in Modern Warfare 19. Same with Huntsman, actually. But FaZe kind of dominating this list. Remarkable enough that Ravens last year started out 6-0. But OpTic have a little bit of way to go to get to Ravens before they can start thinking about mixing it up with FaZe. But we'll see. Of course, some big matches to come. And of course, if that was to happen, they would have to do rather well at Major 1 in addition. But a couple of clips here coming out of Sib, which have been pretty entertaining over the last couple of days. It's worth noting that Sib does say in the replies to this one, especially like, stop taking me so seriously. I'm just here to have a good time, right? But still, his comments were pretty interesting. This one, as he says, because he was kind of joking, probably not so much. But it is interesting, right? As he says, it's my 5th year now. I've been around quite a while. I'm getting old. I want to retire, be rich, have a family and all this. It's like, well, you've got a decent chance of being rich if you keep playing the COD League for a few years. Absolutely fry, become one of the top players, keep raking in the salaries, all that stuff. that's a reasonable assessment. But he's kind of saying, oh, well, by the time I'm 30, I might well want to call it a day here in the Pro League. And, well, to be fair, there's not too many players left that still compete when they get to 30. Slasher's still here, but apart from that, every other player at that age is now gone. But the other clip, which was pretty interesting, was talking about Scrims. So the guys were discussing, hang on a second here, OpTic, they stream a fair bit of their practice. Of course, a lot of the Challengers teams, they're streaming their practice as well. What about some of the Pro League teams? Some of them also do it on occasion too. Certainly, as we know, that's the case for OpTic. But Simp says, well, if we were streaming our practice as Gentlemates, people might be getting some fines.
Just enjoying it while I still got it, bro. I'm fucking getting old, dog. It's my 5th year. I mean, bro. Brother, it's fucking time to fucking zoom it. I feel like I was just fucking starting off my first year like last 2 months ago.
Bro, how old are you? Bro, how old are you?
I'm 24, about to be 25.
Bro, shut up. Shut up.
I'm 24.
But
like I don't want to be 30 playing the fucking video game, dog.
What do you mean? Why not?
Why not?
I want to be 30 and rich and have a family.
You see Kerrigan? He's 40 years old, making major final.
Yeah, but I want to have a family, bro.
Bro, you're gonna get that family one day, but you gotta stay focused, man.
Obviously, bro. At 30 and when I'm 30. I'm 30,
so
but I gotta set
gonna...
myself up. You know what I'm saying?
So start winning.
Yeah, bro. It's fucking super easy, dog.
And start streaming. No, it's not easy. But I'm saying, like, start streaming, start winning while streaming, and like really.
All right, well, tell your team just not to say cancelable shit, and you guys. Would
I mean, bro, but when you're in that mode in that type of environment, anything flies, bro. You know that.
Yeah, but there's
like you're in intense, you're high intensity, high emotion, like.
Yeah, but there's certain words you can just not say.
I mean, brother.
Yeah, you might say some rogue shit to other
like
players,
it could be subconscious. You could do that shit subconsciously.
We know you do
all the
that's why
time.
you quit.
No, you can teach yourself to not do it though.
Yeah, that's true. You can.
Yeah, but that
Ant
takes.
doesn't have a problem doing it, so.
I'm sorry.
And Ant doesn't have a problem. The Challengers players don't have a problem with
Bro, but Ant's him. You're not understanding that.
Yeah, so are you. So
Yo,
I can brother. Like what?
Bro, I ain't him, dog. I got no MVPs. I got a couple of tournament wins. I got no rings. I got no rings.
The fucking decade player of all decades.
Yes, bro. Like, come on. Let's keep saying it, bro.
You know how crazy that has been?
It's fucking insane.
Hey, Ben, just
Some pretty excellent excuse as far as I'm concerned for not streaming practice, because this is what many of the fans will say. It's like, well, let everyone streaming their scrims, not everyone all the time, but it's nice to see them. Gentlemates haven't really done any of that, so what's the reason, right? How can you explain not doing so? And Simp says, well, we got to be careful here over at this team because we're going pretty rogue when it comes to what we're talking about to our rivals during the matches. Now, I find this an interesting explanation, whatever you think about what these guys might be up to behind the scenes, because, well, when you play a Pro League match, all of those scrims, all of those comms are publicized, right? So, and look, we've not heard anything crazy out of the Gentlemates guys in their comms so far in actual CDL matches. So, clearly it's possible, as Simp says, during these high intensity moments, sometimes it just slips out. Obviously you can theorize what words they might be talking about here. But the point really that I'm trying to make is that in the Pro League matches, when everything is public, and okay, they're not always in listen-ins, but the comms are always recorded at all times because they put them into the videos after the fact sometimes. They make the highlight videos and stuff, and they do the same thing from the matches on LAN as well. So, look, the pros know that what they're saying is getting heard nowadays. So, and they're able to, within reason, control it most of the time. So you would think that if they were to stream their practice, knowing that what they're saying is being said publicly, probably they would also be able to do so. So I don't think it's a massively fair excuse, but it's pretty interesting, I thought. Especially because of this, right? This is back in July. And Shotzzy stood up and said, he said, mother effing, and then he was like, I can't say that, like, I was going to say some crazy stuff, and then he sat back down. So, look, I do get it. In the heat of the moment, things can go crazy. It also reminded me, and I saw this in the replies as well, of that Goon Jar Black Ops 2 listening. I can't play that in this video because it will be cooked. But if you guys want to just Google Goon Jar listening, And you'll find, I think PD Gaming made a Reddit post. You guys can find it on there if you guys want to listen to what that was. Or if you're an OG, you'll remember what he said. It was on Raid, Search and Destroy, way back in Black Ops 2. You better hope that wasn't a listening. So very much enjoyed your thoughts on all of this stuff in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care. And I'll see you next time.
Why did Marco like... This is my OG duo, chat. Listen.
He glitched back.
He like... fuck.
Oh, what a choke. What a fucking choke.
Yo.
Why do you get back the what a fucking joke? Like,
We gotta work something together, bro. Come on.
Yo, I'm like, yo, let's do something together, bro. It's 5-5, bro. I don't want to lose. Come on.
See what just might be. He naded from middle. He naded from middle. He got a him mark on me.
He
You got
just
a him
ran
mark.
in. He just ran in.
Was that a cove? Oh, Marco's scaring me. What the fuck? Yo. Oh my. What the fuck? Bro, that was fucking comedy. He's like, what a. But it's like, what a choke. And dude's like, what a fucking choke. I'm gonna hit that. I'm gonna hit that one day, bro. In Scrims. What a choke. Wait, what a fucking choke, bro. Oh my god, that is good.